The Narcissist's final chapter. Think about that for a minute. So, by now you know that the narcissist rewrites chapters over and over and over again. And they use people as fuel sources. They use people as supply. The narcissist doesn't care about anybody but themselves. The narcissist also wants to have the last word in any relationship. The narcissist also does not want to give people closure. They want to leave that door open so said person, which was me, and I can assure you it was you, is stuck. That person is pining. They don't know what to do. They are adrift in an ocean of toxicity. The narcissist also doesn't want anyone to ever figure out who they are, what they did, or that they were wearing a mask, not even counting that these people, the toxic people, they're shallow, they're cowards, they're bullies, they're hollow. They're mimickers. There's nothing to them. They never wanted you to know any of that. When you were caught up in the cycle, you didn't realize where you were, but yet you knew that it was getting worse over time. Each and every one of these relationships, they all start the same. There's always a love bomb or euphoric stage. And you may say, well, not really. My relationship didn't have one. Well, I'll tell you right now, it had to start with a form of that. Whether you were born into the narcissistic family, whether it turned out to be your friend, whether it was your roommate or a partner romantically, something had you interact with that person. And that's how the cycle goes around. Remember, the cycle is the love bomb / euphoric stage. Then the second part is the devaluation stage. That's usually the longest part of the relationship. The third part's the ending. And the fourth part is not applicable to everybody. And that's what is known as a Hoover. You cannot accept a Hoover. You need to become unhooverable, and you need to get off the radar of the narcissist, which means maintain your boundaries, which means go no contact. Block that person, delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys, and of course, people associated with them. If not now, when? Now, if you have gone no contact and you block said person, you now know that it has dramatically helped you on the healing path. If you haven't done this yet, you need to ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Because time is ticking, and if you have none of the tethers still connected with you to the narcissist, which include the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual, if those tethers are cut, you need to ask yourself what you are waiting for. Now again, if you have kids, or if there's assets that need to be divided, or you're waiting for, let's say, the narcissist to give you the monthly payment that they owe you, or the weekly payment, or whatever it is, I get it, I understand it. You need to understand that the narcissist is a shapeshifter. They are pitch black, they're a dark energy source, and they will rewrite anything that they want to. So the final chapter of the narcissist for this video, you need to understand one thing. I'm referencing the final chapter of the narcissist as far as you are concerned with when that relationship ended. To you, it was the final chapter of you experiencing toxicity at the hands of said person. To them, I hope you're sitting down. To them, it was only one chapter of probably dozens, if not hundreds, maybe even thousands of books that they have closed on other people. You see, this is what they had been doing since they could figure out, or since they figured out what narcissism was. This is what they were doing long before you knew what narcissism was. This is what they were doing when they were each and every day peppering you with abuse, when they were blaming you, when they were triangulating you, when they were acting like they didn't know what you were talking about, or that you were the problem, or that you had the concern, or that you are the person that didn't live up to expectations. Any way you look at it, the narcissist is unfixable. They are a broken person. And when I say broken person, what that means is, if you think for a moment that they're going to miraculously change, and they're going to improve and elevate, and that the new supply is getting the best of everything that you put into them, you would be mistaken. The narcissist is broken. They're shallow, and they cannot be fixed. They know this. What they do is they go through this planet called Earth like a ticking time bomb, like a bull in a china shop, trying to destroy as many people's lives as they can. So as I shared with you earlier, the final chapter, it's in reference to you with your experience with the narcissist. However, you need to understand that the narcissist has blown up way more lives than yours. Yours is the one I am concerned about. Yours is the path I'm concerned about. Yours is the one that needs to get away from the narcissist as soon as possible. Not that I'm not caring about anyone else. I care about all of us, each and every one of us. But you're the person that found my channel. You're the person that cracked the code. That's why you need to understand that, I'll use the airplane analogy here. Imagine you're flying at 30,000 feet and you're sitting next to a loved one, not the narcissist, a loved one. Well, if you hit turbulence, the oxygen mask drops down from above. And what happens? Well, you need to put your oxygen mask on before you can help out somebody else. If you don't do that, then you can't help anyone else out, which means you have to get as strong as you possibly can, which is exactly why you're watching videos. It's exactly why you're getting your cup full, and it's why you're realizing that you are stronger than you know, and that you come first, second, and third, that you are the priority. But the last chapter that the narcissist wrote when they were with you, I can assure you, it included the smear campaign. It included them blaming you. It included them twisting the narrative any way they wanted to, so you were the problem. They possibly told you that you need to seek medical advice, or you need to seek a therapist or counseling. They probably told you that you're the one that's broken, you have problems. They probably dumped everything into you that they knew that they had, all the problems that they knew that they had, they dumped them into you, so you would take them on as your own, even though they weren't your problems. And then the narcissist could control you that way. That's why when you understand that these people are fractured irreparably, they can never ascend, they can't elevate, they can't break out of their own narcissistic abusive loops. Now, a side note here, do they want to break out of those loops? You could say they do want to, but I would say, no, they don't. If they wanted to, they would be seeking help. If they wanted to, they would be admitting that they're the narcissist. If they wanted to, they would be like other people who have problems and concerns. Example, I'll just give you a prime example right here. A shopaholic, an alcoholic, a person who does drugs or other things. Well, if they're honest with themselves and they know that they are not doing what they should be doing, then they can get help and they can at least address the concern. Is the narcissist going to do that? No. Now you may say, well, wait, not so fast, Andrew. The narcissist I knew, they went and sought help and they claimed it helped them for a couple days, but then that was it. Okay, that may be true. But the question I would ask you then is, A, did they really do it, or did they just tell you they did it? Or B, did they do it and they didn't want to hear the truth from the therapist? I really hope you're following this. I could go down so many layers on this video, and every video I create, it's not, everything isn't how it appears to be on this planet, and it's not one size fits all. So this is why, and I hope the audience, all of you who have been with me for 5+ years on the channel, and thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for contributing to the channel's growth, and thank you for working on yourselves to keep your cup full. But having said that, you need to realize that what I do is, many times as I create a video, I will go off on a tangent in one direction or another. And you may say, yeah, you have been doing that for a while, but I mean, why do you do that? The reason I do it is because I have so much in my mind that I want to unpack. If I could plug you into my brain, I would do it in a heartbeat so you can get the information and I wouldn't have to create videos. It doesn't work that way. Maybe in the near future or the future, AI could do something like that for me. But I'm going nowhere. I'm going to continue to create videos in real time without a script and pay it forward to help you out. But you need to understand that this person you're considering, the person that you were caught up in the fog with and the trauma bond and the devaluation stage, they rewrote the chapter at the ending of that relationship with you, just like they rewrote the ending of other chapters before they had met you and they told you about those people. Think about it. I've shared this for so many years of videos. When you were with the narcissist, you may have been with them physically, but were you with them mentally? No, they were easily checked out. They were probably on one of their smartphones looking for your replacement, or stringing you along but not paying attention to you, and laughing with a complete stranger on a dating app while they're sitting right next to you when you're paying for a $500 fancy dinner. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where you were when you were with the narcissist. What matters is what they were doing and were they present with you. The only times I can say that the narcissist most likely was actually present with you, there probably were a couple of these, and I'll give you 3 or 4 of them, and there were more, but these are the main ones. One, when they were milking you for supply, meaning they created an intentional argument, or they stirred the pot with you and they disrupted your energy. Oh, they were completely locked in on you at that point. Number 2, flip it, when they were ignoring you. Yes, they were sitting there right next to you, ignoring you on one of their smartphones when you were trying to get their attention, or perhaps when you were thinking that it's so pleasurable and so enjoyable to be sitting next to the one I love, without knowing they're a narcissist, when they were sitting there smirking or laughing, saying, oh my God, by the way, I'm acting like the narcissist and I'm not. But what they would be thinking is something like this: oh my gosh, this person is so broken, which was you, and it definitely was me, that they think this is quality time. But what I'm doing is I'm on my smartphone looking for their replacement. But see, that's how deep, when you're in the fog, you're in it. When you're in it, you can see nothing but fog in the mirror. You don't see the promise of tomorrow. You don't see what's actually going on. That's why the term I coined, narcissistic fog, came up years ago. And that's why it's a real place. It's an actual place. Fog isn't just you're driving on the freeway at 2 o'clock in the morning and you see some fog in the road. The narcissistic fog is as real as it ever has been, because that is a mental prison where many of us were trapped. But as the narcissist was rewriting the past of your relationship, what they were doing is they were love bombing a new person, or they're about to, any way you look at it. And that's how they use one fuel source. They jettison one fuel source to the next fuel source, and they use their previous experience with the old source, which was me and you, or you and I should say, and then they jettison to the new source of supply. Now the new source of supply, which I'm not going to focus on, but they are believing what said person, i.e. the narcissist, is telling them, just like you did. And I hope you're understanding this, because I'm going a little deeper on this video than I usually would. This is why the cycle needs to be broken by you. This is why the cycle needs to be decimated by you. And this is why you need to maintain your boundaries, go no contact, and you need to become, if you haven't already, the generational curse breaker, because the narcissist will continue to rewrite history. The narcissist will continue to throw anybody under the bus they can. And the narcissist they know that their time is running out. They know that they have fewer and fewer places to hide. They have fewer corners to lurk around, fewer rocks to hide out underneath. And they also know, and this is a big one, that there is a huge glass that is looking down on planet Earth. Yeah, picture a big magnifying glass without the powers of heat. I'm referring to zooming in. That's all I'm talking about. But there's a big magnifying glass on this planet called Earth. And you are part of it. And I'm part of it. And so is the narcissist. The thing is, the narcissist doesn't want that magnifying glass on them. Picture like Inspector Clouseau doing one of these moves. Like that, right? With the magnifying glass. That's what's happening. The thing is that magnifying glass used to be on you. And you never knew it. And back then when it was on you, yeah, it was like a prism. The sun was burning you, not the sun's sun, but the power of the narcissist, because they wouldn't let up. That's why the narcissist only knows one speed, which is full speed ahead. And that's why when things are flipped, the magnifying glass doesn't go on you any longer, because you know what you know and you've healed or you're healing, but it now goes into the narcissists, plural. And they don't like this, because the narcissist is used to control. They are used to misdirecting people's attention and energy. They are used to misrepresenting themselves, and they don't want to be a part of anything that is the truth unless it benefits them. Which is why, again, before I close the video, you need to take this very seriously, because this is your life. And the last chapter that person wrote about you or about what happened, I can assure you most of it is complete fabrication. Most of it would be lies. Most of it would be made up. Why do you think the narcissist does that? It's because they want to paint you pitch black. They want to paint themselves white, like they did nothing wrong, you did everything wrong. And that will allow their tiny little ego to go on to the next source of supply, acting like you were the victim, or they were the victim, you did everything wrong, and ABC. But eventually, as you now know, and many people on the planet are discovering, there's one common denominator. There is one common denominator in the narcissist's life. And it wasn't you. It definitely wasn't me. Wasn't your kids, wasn't your stepkids, it wasn't the narcissist sisters or the narcissist parents or brothers. It's the narcissist. When you wrap your head around that, you will realize that everything, and I do mean everything that went sideways in your life, from the minute you met that toxic person until the minute you put yourself back together, it was a direct correlation because of the toxicity that runs through the narcissist and was connected to you. That's why you had health challenges. That's why you couldn't sleep. That's why your money went flushed down the toilet. That's why you lost your relationships. That's why you lost your time. That's why you couldn't pick out a jar of peanut butter properly when you were in the relationship. And that's why you couldn't get rest. And that's why you could never, ever come up and catch your breath, because every single time you were catching a whiff or getting on the scent of the narcissist, in other words, getting close to figuring out who they were, what they did, or what they were doing, what would they do? They would give you a little love bomb, or they would maybe ghost you for a few days. So then you would recalibrate and you would be missing them and you would want to connect with them again. This is why the cycle continues to go around and around and around. And this is why you can no longer be a part of the cycle, and you shouldn't be a part of the cycle. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the sunny Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. And I'm moving the camera around a little bit because the sun is setting. I hope you can see it a little bit better. I think you can right there. And I'll close the video because I don't want to keep having to move this, but I'll share this with you. The final chapter of the narcissist, whatever they did is what they did. Whatever they said is what they said. If the relationship ended recently for you, I can assure you, you want to shout from the rooftops and expose them and call them out and let everybody know what they did. That is not what you should be doing. You should understand that people are catching on to what the narcissist does. They're catching on to what the narcissist is capable of. And more people are believing people like you. And this is without even doing anything. And you may say, what does that mean? I will tell you, and I'm closing this video. I will use my real life example. Post-narcissistic relationship, after discard, I took the high road. That's what I call it. Taking the high road means doing the right thing, not exposing people, not calling them out, not throwing them under the bus, not defending everything that is complete crap or nonsense that the narcissist was saying. When you do that, you choke out and drown out the smear campaign. Yeah, it does work. Will it work overnight? No chance. But over time it will. And then what happens is, as you're healing because you didn't give the smear campaign oxygen, the narcissist inevitably is destroying somebody else's life, or somebody else's, plural, more than one person's, and that person too will feel what you felt. Maybe not to your degree, maybe worse, but anyway, you cut it. Those people also will either expose the narcissist or go silent. Well, as that group of people that were abused begins to add up, see, it starts with one person, then it's two, then three, then four, and then whatever the number is. As those people begin to figure out what's going on, they all close doors of avenues of communication with the narcissist. And some of them do what they shouldn't, which is expose. Some of those people do things that they shouldn't do, which is retribution on the narcissist, etc. I would not do that ever. I didn't, I won't, and I never will, and you shouldn't either. The correct choice, the path, post-narcissistic relationship, is to get away from these people as fast as you can and as far away as you can. Don't take the bait. Don't give oxygen to the smear campaign. Have a small footprint, heal properly, implement boundaries, and really stay in your cocoon of boundaries as long as you need to until you heal and heal properly. But the smear campaign, eventually it will burn itself out. And if you think it won't, you would not be correct. You would be wrong. And I'll tell you why. Because after your relationship ended, think about it. There's always something new. Somebody else's life goes sideways. Someone else has a health challenge. Someone else does something. That's why if you don't give the smear campaign oxygen, you're doing yourself a big favor, a really big favor, and also it allows you to heal. And I can dig into that more throughout subsequent videos. So I'm going to close it right now. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.